The message felt like a good punch in the gut. The gamer, let's call him Peter, got it from one of his online friends. The guy wrote that he'd already killed several family members and was going to do away with the rest. What was it? Some kind of sick joke? Or was the man actually committing the horrible acts he was talking about? Where was he, if that was a he at all? And how could anyone stop him when Peter and his other chat pals had nothing but the guy's username?
He was pretty much giving us like the murders in real time.
I just wanted to try and save some of his family.
We need to stop him from doing this.
The situation was sure out of the ordinary. The gamers didn't know the address, or even a town's name, to give to the police. We just have to tell you this gruesome story that happened in July 2019. Here, you've got elves, werewolves, and even amphibians, and you can be any one of them. There's a wide choice of trades. You can forge weapons, brew healing potions, or become a skillful tailor. Reach level 30, and you get the ability to fly, with the help of fantastic beasts, flying swords, or on your own 2 wings. You can make use of magic spells, join battles, and build up romantic relationships. Isn't it a perfect world? The Perfect World online game is based on Chinese mythology. Gamers all around the globe plunge into this fantasy realm, take on different roles, and communicate through Discord. In the group of gamers that regularly meet amidst virtual mountains and volcanoes, there's an elf cleric. He goes by the name of Menhaz. Thursday, July 23rd. Menhaz sends a message in Discord to one of his online friends. He says he's going to kill his family. What is this nonsense? The fellow gamer, Peter, just smacked himself on the forehead. This elf has always been making dark jokes, he finally decides and brushes it off. Saturday, July 25th, 11:32 p.m. The thought about the weird fellow gamer is bugging Peter like a troublesome fly. So how are you doing? He asks the elf. The answer is nauseating. I killed Mom and Granny so far. Waiting for sister in 5 minutes, and then Dad in 1 hour. Do you want the pics? Menhaz wrote. And he sends Peter a picture of 2 lifeless bodies. The women obviously died from their wounds. But maybe Menhaz simply downloaded this random photo from the internet just to keep on with his sick jokes. Instantly, Peter calls their group into a chat room and asks his fellow gamers to search the internet for the photos. But they found none. Instead, a new message appears. In the picture, there's a family. They're cutting a celebration cake. And here's the woman from the previous horrific photos, still alive and well. Menhaz's father and sister are supposed to be home very soon. Who is this elf? And where is he now, in real life? The gamers have no idea. They only know that Menhaz lives somewhere in Canada. Peter now gathers the gamers from Canada. He has every intention to track down the killer and deter his further crimes. Unfortunately, they couldn't do much in just an hour. The search gave no results, while Menhaz popped up once more to inform them he'd killed his father and sister too. Sunday, July 26th, 2 a.m. I just slaughtered my entire family. Will most likely spend the rest of my life in jail if I manage to survive. I hope I made you laugh at one point or another. I hope you remember the good times. I will miss you all. This is the message Menhaz is sending out to everyone in his chat group. Utterly shocked, the gamers start calling the police. In response, they get a question. Do you even know where this man is? The gamers don't have the answer, but they're not going to give up either. Some of them set out to keep Menhaz talking so that he stays online and doesn't do anything stupid. Meanwhile, the others are looking for his IP address. What are you going to do now? The talking crew asks. Menhaz is going to smoke, drink, and visit his ex. He also says he's never had a taste of alcohol before. The IP search through Menhaz's gaming account proved fruitless, but another account helped, the one on Skype that was linked to the Mad Elf's profile. The IP obtained indicated that Menhaz was somewhere in the Greater Toronto Area, Ontario. Meanwhile, Menhaz makes his next crazy move. Just because you're a good friend, I want to give you money, because I won't need it where I'm going. Gave lots of people money already. The guy starts asking around the chat for people's emails to send them money. Bianca decides to play the game. Sunday, 3 a.m. Finally, the girl has the data from Menhaz's PayPal. She checks his previous payments and finds his home address. Matches the information about Ontario. This time, the address is exact and correct. At long last, they have something to tell the police. Bianca contacts them again. Sunday, July 27th, 3 p.m., Markham, a city 30 kilometers northeast of downtown Toronto. Here, you have skyscrapers and 19th century houses surrounded by parks and lakes. The officers finally pay a visit to one of those dwellings. Menhaz writes his last goodbye in the Discord chat.
When our officers arrived, they did find a man at the front door of the residence. That man was taken into custody and has been held in custody ever since. Shortly after that, our officers did go inside the residence, and that's where they located the bodies of 4 people, all deceased.
The man at the door is Menhaz Zaman. He's 23. Monday, July 28th. Quite a few gamers gathered near a Newmarket courthouse. Menhaz was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. His neighbors were dumbstruck. The boy they knew was on good terms with his family, studied at a university, and helped shovel the snow off the street in winter.
A really good kid. I've seen him grow up, and for me to think why he would do that, it would have to be something very, very traumatic in his life that happened.
But people from the Perfect World chat knew his other side. Here is what Peter disclosed. In the last months, his humor became extremely dark over time. He talked about suicide a lot, but to me at least, he all made it seem like a dark joke. When he started saying he would kill his family, I think most people like me just thought of it as another weird, dark joke. The family were Muslims who came to Canada from Bangladesh. The funeral was held at the Islamic Foundation of Toronto. Online, Menhaz was very wordy about how he despised this religion. On July 11th, the word count hit the roof, and the moderators banned him from the server for discriminatory remarks. But no one ever suspected that, soon, he'd resort to murder. Menhaz explained his motive in detail. I did this because I don't want my parents to feel the shame of having a son like me. 70-year-old Feroza Begum, Menhaz's grandmother. 59-year-old Menhaz Zaman, his father. 50-year-old Momotaz Begum, his mother. And 21-year-old Menhaz Zaman, his sister. All 4 of them had certainly wanted Menhaz to succeed in life, but the man's psyche malfunctioned. On the other hand, Menhaz lost his guiding light. His former religion and family values were becoming meaningless. In his head, Menhaz was constantly accumulating arguments that seemed to support his feelings and theories. On the other hand, he despised himself as well. At least, that's what he was telling his friends online. The youngest man berated himself, calling himself subhuman. His parents believed Menhaz studied mechanical engineering at York University, while, in fact, he entered Seneca College, failed his classes, and dropped out in just a year. The man says that was when he became an atheist and started developing depression. Instead of going to the uni, Menhaz went to a shopping mall, hung out for several hours, and then headed back home. He was ashamed to admit it to his family, so he continued lying about being a student. The young engineers of York University were supposed to have their graduation on July 28th. Menhaz's parents, sister, and grandmother were all going to attend. And to escape his shame, Menhaz decided to kill them all. Here is how he explained it online. I chose to kill them instead of me out of cowardliness, due to me being an atheist and believing this is the only life we get. I know it might sound confusing, but what's done is done, and what had been planned has been concluded. Dr. Michael Arntfield, a criminologist and former police officer, says that this explanation actually makes some sense. He presumes that Menhaz is a so-called injustice collector. It is a term sometimes used to describe the personality of such criminals as shooters, especially school shooters and disgruntled workplace shooters. These people tend to collect the images and situations they consider unjust, and to perform an act of revenge later on. They might even have an unconventional perception of time. They process time much differently. 3 years ago in the mind of these injustice collectors is like last week. Time goes much more slowly. Whatever the perceived trauma is, time stops. Detachment, apathy, and proneness to retreat into fantasy. These are some of the traits of a schizotypal personality disorder. In September 2020, Zaman pleaded guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder of his grandmother, father, and sister, and 1 of second-degree murder, that of his mother. Maybe, if the case had gone to trial, the last charge would have been first-degree too, but the court accepted Menhaz's plea. Bianca, Peter, and many other perfect world gamers were, for quite some time, weighed down by the events of that fateful July 2019. They even had to resort to psychiatric help themselves. We too noticed several red flags in Menhaz's behavior. Similar behavior patterns are seen in criminals we've already told you about in our stories. Lack of real-life relationships, online acquaintances instead of real-life friends, constantly spending time on the net. Sure thing, red flags don't necessarily end in crime. But this sad story teaches us we should pay attention nonetheless, for our world is far from perfect. What would you do if you met someone like Menhaz online? Please, share your thoughts in the comments below. And thanks for watching this video. Stay safe, and see you next time on Call It Crime.